Hi, it's Ramesha here with Vocal Bliss. We're going to talk about difficult passages in songs. You know, when you have a song that you're singing or you're practicing, and there's always one little passage, maybe one or two notes, that every time you get there, you stumble. And so I would like to address this because in my own experience learning music when I was little and then growing up, I realized how important it is to learn how to practice things, because otherwise you think you're practicing, but what you're doing, you're just reinforcing bad habits. So this is what we're going to talk about in this video. But before we dive into it, I invite you to subscribe to my channel so that you will receive all notifications for future videos that I put out. There can be several reasons for a passage in a song being difficult or challenging. First of all, it could be that certain notes are in a particular area of the range that is challenging for us. And so this could cause, obviously, so if the song was in a different key, it wouldn't be a problem, but because it's in that particular key, those notes happen in that area of the range, and it becomes a little challenging. The second reason can be a challenging vowel. Depending where you're at in your vocal development, there can be vowels that are easier than others. I don't know if you noticed this. For many people, E sometimes is a little harder to sing on. So if this is your problem, I'm going to talk about what you can do to improve the way you sing those vowels so that they're not a problem anymore. The third reason we're going to cover is when there are a lot of words with fast notes moving around and your voice has to go from one note to another really fast, and you have to really hit those notes right on, even if they're fast. So I'm going to show you how you can practice something like this. And the last one we're going to talk about is when you need to jump from a low note to a high note, like suddenly, and you have to hit that high note right on, both pitch-wise and sound-wise. So you want that sound to be good and not to be a note that you reach up to and it's hardly there. So these are the things we're going to cover. There can be a lot more reasons for why a song is challenging, but I thought this would be a good start. So what can you do when some notes are hard because of where they are in the range? So let's say for example, you have notes right in the area where you're transitioning from your chest to your head voice. And so there's that gray area that is always a little bit hard because it's the voice is getting closer to transitioning into your head voice. There's a little bit more tension building up. And so you need a little bit more work with your diaphragm, and you need to really have these notes be still relaxed and full and resonant. So one good exercise that it's almost like the universal remedy for almost anything in my experience, but one great exercise is go to the word where those notes are and look at the vowel that you're singing on that note. And then let's say the vowel is ah, for example, like if you're saying the word heart, and so there's ah, and that's the vowel that you end up holding. So go to that note with that particular vowel and then hold it and try to relax the throat as you hold, because by relaxing, what happens is the voice tends to settle down in a much better and more comfortable placement. So you want to allow the voice to settle down in a place where it's happy, it's comfortable. And if you feel that the voice changes placement when you relax, that means that probably when you're singing that note, you're actually tense. So your job is to hold it until the voice settles down and then try to really feel where that place is, because every time you go back to that note, that's where you want to place it in your throat. It's very, very subtle. You have to really use your sensitivity, your sensation, and really try to feel, okay, that's where it is. Okay, you make a mental note and then you try the passage again, and when you get to that note, try to place it exactly where it was after you allowed it to relax and settle down. It's a subtle thing, but in the long run, it's the only thing that really can make any note really solid. As long as the note is not placed well and you have to exert some tension in order to get the note out, it will never be reliable. So this is what you need to do. So you hold the note until it settles down, and then try to find that place where it's settled every time you get to that same note on that same vowel. Okay, so the second challenge is a challenging vowel. So I mentioned earlier that most, especially singers who are in training, because usually somebody who's completely trained, they know how to negotiate any vowel. But for many singers I notice in my students, often they have a hard time with E and A. For some reason, those seem to be the most challenging vowels for most people. So what do you do? Well, the only thing that you can do is to say the vowel, like let's say it's E. So once again, say the vowel, hold it for a little moment until you figure out the place for that vowel. And it will feel different from A, for example. A is more open, it's more far in the back of the throat. E is more forward, so you will feel it more like behind your front teeth or like behind your nose. It's a little bit different. So you have to sing. Don't be afraid, don't avoid the E by saying something close to it. Like don't say E, go E. If it's E, let it be really E. Otherwise, you'll never learn how to sing on E. And so go there and hold it and try to really figure out by relaxing, once again, by relaxing the throat as you hold it, figure out the exact placement. So if you're not sure, you can go just E, and then you relax and you can still be saying E, but the sound will grow in resonance and beauty, but you'll still have your E. So you see how really holding a note gives you the time to really work on it, relax the muscles, and allow the tone to really settle down. Relaxation is the key for most technical difficulties, quite frankly. It's just usually we try to do things with just putting more energy and tension than is really necessary. If you have issues with another vowel, you do the same thing. You pronounce it first clearly, and then you allow it to settle down into that place until it feels comfortable. It has to feel comfortable. If it doesn't, if you're not able to hold the vowels for very long because it feels like, oh my God, I can't wait for it to be over, then it means that there's still tension and it's not relaxed. When it's relaxed, you should be able to hold a note for as long as you have air in your lungs without any issue. No matter where that note is in the range, low or high, doesn't matter. That's like a benchmark for you to know if a sound is really well placed. Number 3, when you have many words in a song and many words to say with fast notes. So what do you do with this? The best thing to do is to do everything slow first and make sure that each one of those notes, every syllable basically that you say, gets a note. And so make sure that each one of those notes is placed well. Make sure it's on pitch. So you should have an instrument with you to help you with that. So you go very, very slow, da, 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 whatever the melody it might be, I don't know. Say the words and also make sure, check the pitch to make sure that you're right on pitch. And do it slow enough times until what you hear satisfies you. When everything is on pitch, when everything feels relaxed, the sound is beautiful and resonant. When that happens, then you can gradually increase the speed. I say gradually because if you increase the speed and then you hit a point where you've gone faster enough that everything starts to feel a little bit out of focus again, and you know the voice is not quite there, the pitch is not so accurate anymore, go back to slower again, and then move your way up slowly until you're able to reach the tempo that you need for the song, but with everything still working properly. And you know, you just have to be very patient with this. The brain needs some time to learn how to do these things properly. And you can't teach it by going fast. You have to go slow enough that the brain is able to really handle all the information you're trying to put in it. And so this is how you do it. And the last one I want to touch on today is when you have to jump from a low note to a high note. First of all, make sure that you don't overlook the lower note, because when we're jumping, our mind is already focused on the top note and we almost give no importance to the lower note. But actually, the lower note acts a little bit like a trampoline for you. So you should be able to make that low note really, really full. Put a lot of focus on it, make it full, enunciate the vowel clearly so it's full. And then when you jump up, it's almost as if by making the lower note beautiful and full, it's almost like you make the distance between the two notes a little bit smaller somehow. You know, it doesn't feel quite as big of a leap to go all the way up there. Then go up there, focus on that high note, hold it to make sure that it's really placed well and relaxed. So hold it enough. Feel where it is in your throat, where it's placed, what sensation, what shape your throat has to go into in order to hit that high note. Okay, and have that very clear in your mind. And then go down again, hit the note full, jump back up into that position. And do that enough times until the two positions, the low and the high, are very clear in your mind. So this is why I often say that singing has a lot to do with muscle memory. You're developing the muscle memory for each sound so that you're able to go back to it anytime you want by focusing on the sensation in your throat. So low note, certain position, high note, a certain position, and then you're able, like what I said earlier, you can start to do that slow. So low, high, and take the time to really go from one position to another. And then gradually you can do that faster and faster and faster until jumping up there is not a problem at all. You know, it really becomes very, very easy. Once your mind knows exactly where you're going, you can do that without even thinking about it, because it becomes second nature and it's ingrained in your subconscious. These are really important things to do. You know, this thing about feeling the sound in your throat, not just hearing, but feeling where it is. Remember, every sound has its own place in the throat. It's placed slightly different from any other sound. And so you want to gradually tune into this, and that becomes a way to make your voice very, very reliable, pitch-wise and sound-wise. So it's really a win-win. And the more you tune into it, the more you'll really reap the benefits of this technique. I hope this was helpful, and if it was, please like this video and consider subscribing to my channel to receive more videos like this. So thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.